Hey everyone, it's Elizabeth here. So I just wanted to make this short and hopefully inspiring video in regards to there is an Olympic athlete born in every single one of us. So I've been home from the Camino for a few weeks and about almost 3 weeks now. And I've had a myriad of events happen, positive as well as negative in my life. And I think a lot of that strength that you get from the Camino um, definitely helps it helped push me forward in order to overcome the obstacles or some of the sadness and things that happened in my life. And as I was explaining some of my situations to a friend who has a lot of spiritual base and knowledge, I guess apparently the way that I explained something, she looked at me, she's like, there is an Olympic athlete that is deep inside of you. And so it kind of took me aback because I thought, wow, what a great compliment that is. And I grew up as a sporty, athletic chick. I studied sport management, so a big part of my existence has been revolved around athletics and human movement. I work in fitness, so there's definitely a lot of lessons that you can learn and accumulate through times by putting yourself through obstacles and challenges, whether that is something in the gym or the rock climbing wall or biking or, running a marathon and stuff like that. And I started to think about this a little bit more because we are very much inspired by the Olympics. I am. I love watching the Olympics every year, and some of it is my most favorite sporting event. You do have a lot of the doping and things like that, but I think it's because you have these amazing athletes from around the world, and when you start to look at the planet from like a global perspective, you can start to see that there are certain genetics and cultures that thrive in certain types of sports than other cultures. I mean, there is a reason why people from Africa can run so fast and they're so powerful, comparing it to other cultures like the Russians and a lot of Eastern Europeans are really successful in gymnastics. There's something to do a lot with the genetics, and that genetic trait is passed down through the generations of the way that we've come to adapt our human body in that specific culture or environment throughout their ancestral lineage. And the thing is, in order to be an Olympic athlete, a lot of this stuff roots to the mindset, and it roots to this mental toughness to overcome things in your life. There are going to be moments when these athletes don't want to train, but you have to do it in order to succeed, to become the best, to become the fastest runner in the world or the most powerful swimmer on the planet. There's so much mental toughness that happens, and that all roots back to the human spirit. And I think that's one of the biggest things that's lacking today a lot in the Western world, but specifically America, is our lack to our spirit, because a lot of us are or we're operating by fear. We're afraid of not succeeding in this area, or we're afraid of getting hurt here. And the thing is, when life throws you an obstacle or a roadblock or a barrier, that is almost a moment of success in your life. A lot of times people won't think of it like that at all, but it is a moment of success because you are being tested or tempted, or you are being challenged by a higher power. And what I mean by this is, I will give an example. I did my Reiki training back in 2013, and it seems really weird to the common folk, but you are an energy conduit when you study Reiki, and you're opening yourself up to this other sort of form of energy that you've never had before. And the one thing that is most fascinating and interesting is that sometimes people who do Reiki, you tend to fry out a lot of pieces of technology. So I was just kind of overwhelmed with so much energy in my body that I fried my car. It just literally died in the middle of the street. And then like 3 or 4 days later, I fried my ex-husband's car. Luckily his turned back on, But mine didn't. Mine just completely kaput and died. And the lady I studied Reiki under, she kept having to buy iPods and iPads, not iPads, iPods continuously, because she said she would just fry these pieces of devices all the time. So that sounds really weird, but when you're channeling that much energy, you're bringing that energy in and it's flowing out through your hands. So you do have some different challenges. So for example, when those two things happened, especially because a car is a big expense, and at that time I wasn't making a ton of money, I felt like that was a challenge that God gave me to see if I would revert back to my old ways of freaking out. I just remained calm in the moment. You know, I called my ex-husband. I ended up getting a tow truck, but I was really calm. If that happened maybe 3 or 4 months before, I would be crying. I'd be freaking out like, how am I going to buy a new car? I don't have enough money and I don't want a car payment and debt. And so I feel like these things kind of happen to you when you're going through processes of growth and ascension. I think some tough obstacles and roadblocks are going to come your way, and it is tempting and testing you. So for example, if you're a type of guy and you have a history of cheating on a woman, but in your life all you want is this great love, you want to be with a soulmate, life is going to present you what you want. You be careful what you wish for. So if you want to manifest a woman that you'll love maybe till the day you die, I think life is going to give you that. But it is possible, I've seen this happen in my other friends' lives, that all of a sudden, so he's focused on her, and then all of a sudden comes the piece of temptation. It's the woman that might be prettier than the girl that he's, you know, falling in love with, or she might have some of the more superficial kind of the desires, the sexiness, or something is there. So really this guy needs the girl that he met, but life is tempting him. So it's kind of like life is giving him an option. Like, where are you going to go? Are you going to progress yourself to go with a woman that you should be with, who you do actually care for? Or are you going to go ahead and steer the path to your same behavioral patterns and choose this one? This one might be a little bit more superficial and is not going to be for his betterment in the long term. So I think if he were to have that focus, that discipline, and that maturity in that ascension process to kind of block the roadblock or the barrier that's coming in and choose the pathway that opened up for him, that's going to be really good. And that a lot of times roots back to having that Olympic spirit. It's like having blinders on. You know, if somebody's running a 100-meter dash, they can't look around. Physiologically, that's going to throw the body off. He's going to slow down, but also he has to block out everything. It's like being a horse. You have to have your blinders on to focus, and that's a lot of what an Olympic athlete has. So that spirit resides in each and every one of us, and obviously there's such a, you know, what is it, like 0.03% of the human population becomes an Olympic athlete. You're not going to become an Olympic athlete most likely, but you can take that spirit, that energy that is within you and really open the doorway to a better life that you're seeking, especially when obstacles and roadblocks come your way. 2018 has been one heck of a year. I've had my heart stomped. I've been lied to. I've been manipulated to. You know, I'm going through a divorce. There's been all these things that's happened. I've been temporarily laid off of work. It's like, what else is next? Honestly, it's like, at least I have a house and I have friends and family that love me, and, you know, I have cats that I love. So it's like things can always be worse. And having that spirit and connecting to that light that is within you will help get you through those tough times, to where it's like you have blinders, that it's like, okay, been there, done that. All right, he stood me up, no worries, been there, done that. He's on his own other path of immaturity or cowardliness that he has to, you know, learn those lessons. Meanwhile, that's a turnoff. Nope, goodbye, block it out. Keep going forward. That's the Olympic athlete spirit. You're going to push past your threshold, your boundaries. You're going to push yourself to limits that you aren't going, or that you think that aren't possible. And yeah, so I think that's kind of it. Anyways, those are some thoughts I wanted to share. Have a great day. Please subscribe below. You can look at some links below that kind of support some of these thought processes. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Okay, bye.